Welcome to underground living where the rent is dirt cheap, but so is everything else. You've just popped into existence in a sandy burrow somewhere in the middle of Argentina, and congratulations, you're officially the world's smallest armadillo. At 5 inches long, you're basically the size of a hamster wearing medieval armor. Your mom takes one look at you and thinks, well, that's adorable, then promptly gets back to digging because that's what pink fairy armadillos do. We dig. A lot. Your shell isn't even a proper shell yet. Right now you're rocking this soft, leather-like covering that makes you look more like a tiny pink purse than a fearsome armored creature. But hey, at least you're pink, which is pretty unique in the armadillo world. Most of your cousins are stuck with boring brown and gray shells. But you got the fancy cotton candy coloring. Too bad nobody down here in the dirt gets to appreciate your fashion sense. Speaking of dirt, get ready to eat a lot of it. Not on purpose, mind you, but when you spend your entire life tunneling through sand dunes, you're going to get a mouthful now and then. Your first few weeks are spent learning the basics. How to dig without getting sand in your eyes, how to find the good stuff buried in the ground, and most importantly, how to avoid anything that wants to turn you into a bite-sized snack. Your digging technique is pure art. You've got these massive front claws that work better than any shovel, and you can tunnel through sand faster than most animals can run on top of it. Watch this. You disappear into the ground and pop up 3 feet away in about 2 seconds. Pretty neat trick, right? Too bad there's nobody around to be impressed. Your social life consists of accidentally bumping into other armadillos in the tunnels, and both of you immediately backing away, because personal space is very important when you live in a world made of dirt. 2 months in and you're starting to get the hang of this underground lifestyle. Your shell is hardening up nicely, turning into proper armor that actually protects you from rocks and roots, and the occasional confused ground beetle. You've mastered the art of finding ant colonies, which is basically your version of discovering buried treasure. Ants are everywhere down here, marching around in their organized little lines, completely unaware that you're the neighborhood's top ant predator. Your tongue is your secret weapon. This thing extends out nearly as long as your entire body, which would be weird if you were any other animal. But for an ant-eating machine like you, it's perfect. You stick it into ant tunnels and slurp up dozens of them at once. It's messy, it's efficient, and it's probably the closest thing you'll ever get to fine dining. But let's talk about your biggest problem. You're basically a walking contradiction. You're called a fairy armadillo, but you can't fly. You're pink, but you live in brown sand. You're armored, but you're about as threatening as a dinner roll. Most predators take one look at you and think, "Aw, how cute," right before they remember they're hungry. Your strategy for dealing with danger is simple. Disappear. You can burrow straight down and vanish from sight faster than you can blink. 1 second you're there, the next second there's just a small hole in the sand where you used to be. It's your superpower, and honestly, it's pretty much your only option, because running away on those tiny legs isn't exactly going to win you any races. By your first birthday, you've become a tunneling expert. You've mapped out an entire underground neighborhood, complete with multiple entrances, emergency exits, and prime ant hunting spots. Your tunnel system would make a subway planner jealous. You've got express routes, local stops, and even a few dead ends that you use as storage areas for particularly good dirt. The problem with being an expert digger is that you're so good at staying underground, you rarely see sunlight. When you do accidentally surface during the day, the bright light hits you and you're basically a pink, armored vampire. You squint, look around, confused, and immediately dive back down where it's nice and dark and familiar. Your diet has expanded beyond just ants. You've discovered beetle larvae, which are basically the gourmet meal of the underground world. You've also learned to appreciate a good termite colony, though getting to them requires some serious excavation work. Sometimes you hit the jackpot and find a whole grub buffet just sitting there waiting for you. The social aspects of your life remain pretty minimal. You occasionally run into other pink fairy armadillos in the tunnel system, and you've developed a sophisticated communication method that consists mainly of awkward shuffling and trying not to make eye contact. Romance isn't exactly easy when you both live in separate tunnel networks, and your idea of a good time is eating bugs in the dark. When mating season rolls around, things get slightly more interesting. You actually have to venture out of your comfort zone and visit other tunnel systems. This involves a lot of nervous digging and hoping you don't accidentally surface in someone's backyard. The whole process is about as romantic as you'd expect from two creatures whose primary life skill is hiding underground. After successfully finding a mate, which is no small achievement when you're both experts at being invisible. You settle down to start your own family. You dig out a special nursery burrow, complete with extra soft sand and good drainage. Your babies arrive looking even more ridiculous than you did, if that's possible. They're basically tiny pink jelly beans with the beginnings of armor plating. Teaching your kids the basics of underground living is exhausting. You have to show them proper digging technique, how to identify good eating dirt from bad eating dirt, and most importantly, how to disappear at the first sign of trouble. They're not natural diggers at first, which is concerning when your entire survival strategy revolves around being able to vanish into the ground instantly. Your parenting style is pretty hands-off, mainly because there's not much room for helicopter parenting when you're all living in tunnels. The kids learn by trial and error, which mostly means they eat a lot of sand and bump into tunnel walls until they figure out the proper technique. By age 3, you've mastered every aspect of pink fairy armadillo living. You can tunnel through any type of soil. You've memorized the location of every ant colony in a 5-mile radius, and you can sense vibrations through the ground better than a seismologist. You're basically the underground equivalent of a ninja, if ninjas were pink and spent all their time eating bugs. The irony of your existence isn't lost on you. You're called a fairy, but the only magical thing about you is how quickly you can disappear. You're pink, which should make you stand out, but you're invisible to the world above. You're armored for protection, but your best defense is running away and hiding. As you get older, your tunnel system becomes legendary. Other armadillos tell stories about the elaborate underground network you've created, though nobody has actually seen it because, well, you're very good at staying hidden. You've become the mythical pink fairy armadillo of Argentina, a creature so elusive that some people think you're just a really weird legend. Years pass, and you continue your underground lifestyle, digging new tunnels, eating countless ants, and occasionally popping up to confuse the occasional scientist who's been trying to study your species for decades. You remain gloriously, stubbornly invisible to the world above, living your best pink armored life in the sandy darkness below. Your reputation in the underground world has reached legendary status. Other burrowing creatures whisper about the pink phantom who can appear and disappear faster than a magic trick. Desert mice tell their children bedtime stories about the mysterious pink warrior who guards the ant kingdoms. Even the moles are impressed, and trust me, moles don't impress easily. But fame means nothing when you're living in perpetual darkness. You've become so adapted to underground life that sunlight actually hurts your eyes now. On the rare occasions when you accidentally breach the surface, you look around, confused, blink rapidly, and dive back down faster than a submarine in distress. And just when you think you've got this whole underground living thing figured out, you accidentally tunnel straight into someone's swimming pool and spend the next 10 minutes frantically doggy paddling while wearing armor, wondering how exactly your excellent digging skills led you to become the world's most confused pink pool toy.